Boyd, Orthodox Christian wife, mom to almost 10, still almost 10, and the author of the Ascetic Lives of Mothers Hear Me, Special Agents of Christ, and creator of saintsbox.com. All right, well today, I know it's been a really long time since I've done a video or anything, and I apologize, and so much has gone on in my life, but I wanted to start with a review. Now, when I do a review, I don't do like the thumbs up, thumbs down thing. I either like something or I don't. And if I don't like something, then I don't review it unless there is some sort of fatal flaw that needs to be communicated to people, like heresy or something like that. But outside of that, I review something if I like it, and if I don't like it, I assume that it's probably just personal preference, and a lot of times that is what it is, and other people can enjoy something, so I don't like tainting something. Anyway, so I am going to review a book I got, Tending the Garden of Our Hearts. They're daily meditations for families, written by Alyssa Bielatich and Christina Wenger. All right, for whatever reason, I say the last name wrong, but this is a fantastic resource as we are coming up in a very pretty picture. As we are coming up to Great Lent, it is made with families in mind, and one of the ways that you know that something is made with families in mind is when they understand that stuff happens in families. So one of the first things the book says is, if you miss a day, if you miss a week, kind of don't freak out. It says it way better than that, but don't freak out, don't stress out, don't, toss it out. Just step back up and get started again. And I love that there's a daily meditation. There's in the back, the appendix, there's suggestions for, for starting Great Lent. So the countdown to Pascha, inspiration for crafts and activities for Great Lent, Holy Week, and Pascha. It's amazing. So what I like about that is, again, they're not like, here is what you have to do. It's more of a, if you're so inclined, if you happen to be motivated or inspired, check this out. Here are some resources available and suggestions to help make Great Lent more meaningful, because a lot of times, tell me if I'm wrong, which I'm not. I know I'm not wrong. In our families, one of the biggest focuses ends up being food, because we go from eating meat to no meat. And so when Great Lent starts, a lot of times food is just, it's the main focus. And my godmother used to say, Lent is the time where I ask myself, what else can I feed my kids that they're not going to eat? And so this resource is fantastic because it takes the kids out, and families, it's not just the kids, takes the families out of that mentality and gives them something to think about, something meaningful. And with some of the activities for counting down to Pascha, it heightens that sense of adventure, the idea that Great Lent is a journey instead of dreading how many, counting down the days until you can have meat. It's counting down the days until we get to celebrate the resurrection of Christ. And so it's a mind shift, and I really appreciate it. I also have the Audible version that they graciously let me have. I'm so excited. I do really well with books on tape. I grew up listening to them, and I like them for a number of different reasons. Number one, I think for families that are maybe on the go a little more, that the Audible book is a really good resource, allowing you to still have connections even when you're driving. So even when we're not at home and maybe you don't have the ability to sit together and enjoy reading from the physical copy of the book, we can still have access to it through the audio book. And I love, they both read it. Both Alyssa and Christina read. They take turns reading each day. And so it's really fun. Not all authors should read their work. There are certain authors that I've listened to and I love their writing, but they should not open their mouths and and read it for other people to listen to. I know, so not gracious. And who knows, maybe I'm one of those with my audiobook. I don't know. But anyway, they're both very pleasant to listen to. They both have different sounding voices, but they're very comforting and engaging, and it helps to, I would say, listening to it kind of helps to draw you in. At the end of each day's meditation, there are some questions that families can answer, or you can just read. I mean, it's really open-ended, so you can just read the meditation, or you can read the meditation and the questions. And then there's a, I'm going to cheat. There's, so there's questions, and then there's for discussion. And the great thing about this resource also is it's not a just use it this year thing. It's something that can be used year after year, because in families, guess what? Kids get older. So their answers to some of these questions are going to change and shift and mature and evolve as they get older and have more understanding and commitment to the faith. It gives a lot of opportunities for really good family discussion. The other reason I do like the Audible version is in a family like mine, where it's not always possible to sit and read to my children, we can still listen together. So sometimes some of my people require me to be physically available to them. And so if I'm reading, that becomes a barrier as far as they are concerned. And then we end up having these, starting and stopping, where if we're listening to it, I can, I have both arms available. I can, okay, sweetie, come over here. And we can still, everybody else can continue with the flow of what's going on while other things, feelings, are being tended to and all of that. So, and you can take it with you anywhere. It's on your phone, it's in the car, it's wherever you're going. So I like that it's portable that way. If there isn't a bigger person in the car to be reading it from a book, we can still listen to it. So I think both the physical copy and the Audible audio copy are both very valuable, and both have their own pros. I love being able to put a bookmark. I love being able to write notes. You can't write notes on an audiobook. The things that stood out to our kids, to us, each year, and to be able to add that to this. I know some people are horrified with the idea of writing in a book. I write in books. All right. So I highly recommend this, and I am looking forward to using this with my family. I was able to read through a bunch. I think it's very well written. I like the questions that are asked. I like the fact that in the back we have crafts and activities for each week as well, not just for counting down or counting up, whatever, towards Pascha. But, you know, we have week 6 fasting and St. Mary of Egypt. And so they have some crafts and activities for the week, different things that we can, and a lot of them. It's not like 1 or 2. It's a lot of them, and how to actually carry them out, and things that we can, I mean, even if we're just focusing on a tiny little nugget for each week, that can have a big impact. And that also means that every year that we're going through this with our family, we can maybe focus on a different piece. So it's not, hey, you have to do all of these things. It's like, hey, pick one thing. If you are so inclined, and if you're not, don't freak out. Stay calm. Take a deep breath. We can make it through Lent. But I like that there are options. I like that it is usable year after year. I think it could become a really neat family tradition, kind of along the lines of, you know, the Advent calendar and opening a new box each day. You know, I think there could be some really neat family traditions that kind of spring up around this book and doing these meditations together and asking these questions and making those connections. So anyway, I'm very excited about this and wanted to make sure that I did a little review, and in the next few weeks, hopefully, I'll be talking about some other stuff as well and other resources. So, thanks for listening, and keep, okay, since I'm here, if Alyssa and Christina happen to be watching this, I just want to say I'm hoping that you will be doing a nativity, an Advent one of these as well. Okay, just putting that bug in your ear because I want it. So I think it'd be an amazing resource. I have ideas. Give me a call. All right. Anyway, well, let's keep working at our salvation one mama moment at a time. Thanks.